to the Whiskey Roundtable. We are your hosts.
Big G.
Karen Howard Keller.
Doug Dunbar.
And Zach.
I'm glad one of us got the camera right.
I said it like 3 times before we went, just so everybody would know. That's okay, honey.
That's all right. So, and our special
That's why we
guest
love
tonight
you.
is Zach. Zach, the producer. He's the producer of the Whiskey Roundtable.
Not so special, I'd say.
So,
But
but he's going to sit in with us tonight. So we're happy about
Sorry
that.
about your luck, Zach.
Yeah.
And don't be
What did I
knocking
see
over
back?
Doug's wobble doll there.
Wobble doll. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be careful.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, the bobbleheads, for those of you, we got them here. We need one for Zach, too.
Yeah,
We do.
We do.
Maybe.
Listen, with that Elvis hair you got, we got to have one of those.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll.
it's on
Oh,
point
that's
tonight.
nice.
Did you just get that done?
No.
I
I
don't
just actually
want-
washed it
We might have to have a
today.
little
You wearing your
talk.
mom's wig?
Might have to have a talk with Santa. On
Yeah, we're definitely
Maybe
gonna have to-
we need to have a Zach bobblehead.
Anthony Santa. That's who you need to talk
There
to.
you go.
Anthony's.
All right.
That's it.
Too funny. So, how was your Thanksgiving, kids?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was pretty low key, but that's not always bad. Just
No, that's true. That's true. We had a good Thanksgiving.
I did
Unexpected.
get to do the ice bucket with the Michter's bourbon as
Oh,
we talked about,
yeah.
but that's on my to-do list.
It's on your bucket list?
Yeah,
Did-
it's on my bucket list. for
You,
sure.
you know, and you're gonna laugh at me. I'm gonna ask you this stupid question. Do you have the small batch?
Yeah,
Michter's?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Did I
You-
get you one?
yeah. And you said, you
Okay.
told me
I can't remember.
to ice it down and have it like a champagne.
That was a day
and
ago. I
We
don't
planned to
remember.
do that. We just didn't get to that. We had.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
So, have you guys done your kind of? How far are you into all your Christmas gift shopping, holiday shopping? Are you pretty?
You're
Is it Christmas
funny.
Eve? It ain't Christmas Eve yet. That's when we
Oh,
do
is
our
that when you
shopping.
guys do
Yeah.
it?
How about you?
I'm maybe halfway. How about you, Zach?
Everyone needs to get on it, I'm telling you. I work in logistics right now, and everything is just screwed right now.
Really?
Oh, really?
So the longer you wait, there's a good chance it's not going to get to your door by Christmas. So.
Hey, would you guys
No.
ever get somebody like one of those Ancestry? Would you ever get that as a gift, like one of those Ancestry.com or?
If I didn't like them, for sure.
Well, we have friends, actually, who we may see tomorrow, who did that for Christmas one year.
Yeah.
But, they're all family, so they kind of did it just to see and compare between the two of them, and they had a blast with it. So, I don't know. I think it depends. I think it would be fun. I'm not worried about sharing my DNA with,
Yeah, I mean it's
Those
just,
kind of
I
I've been
did
that way since high school, kids. Just saying.
Yeah, I got one. Last year I looked up my family tree and found out I was the sap. So
Sorry. Well, after what Zach said, I guess your condoms are going to be late this year for Christmas. Maybe have them by New Year's.
you never know.
We're trying our best.
Can you rush it along?
I never know if he gets your jokes. I can't even tell.
I listen.
Well,
I listen.
that one wasn't all that good. But anyway,
Well,
He's had better.
yeah.
I feel better.
He's had better.
But yeah,
Anyway.
I found out somebody I know diagnosed with schizophrenia, but he's still good people.
He's still good.
Oh my. That's all right. Goes right along with my Tourette's friend.
I have Tourette's. Just ask me.
Not that we're making fun of mental illness in any way. But
I am.
I don't really. I have to be honest. And honesty is the best policy.
Right. I agree.
Well, it's not called making fun if you have it, so I have it. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, me too.
it's all good.
Hey, if honesty is the best policy, then
It depends.
by default, dishonesty is the second best policy.
You're on a roll today. What
Yeah,
is
what's-
that, 3 in a row?
Just
oh my
stream of consciousness.
goodness.
Okay.
Doug did his homework this
Holy
week.
shit.
The week off, he's got all these
I know.
Henny Youngman one-liners going.
I don't.
I like how he wears Buffalo Trace shirt too.
Yeah, you got your.
There we go.
Got my
T-shirt.
mom's logo on.
Well,
the shirt.
and this
Beautiful.
something like this would make a nice Christmas
that
gift
would make a great Christmas.
and that's what the Whiskey Wizard's going to talk about today is, maybe some things that you might get for that whiskey lover on your Christmas list. So,
Amen.
Yeah.
All right.
And especially if it's running a little slow this year, you want to hurry up and get those in. If
you
you're
don't want to
ordering
get those
online.
in. So this is a very timely topic for tonight. So
Okay.
Way to go, Wizard.
Nice, nice.
So what are you smoking there, Big G?
I'm smoking a Carrillo Ascaro. I probably pronounced it wrong. I apologize. So it's the first time I've ever had this cigar. I mean, the Carrillos I've smoked many times, but not this cigar. And it's a Mexican Andreas wrapper. It's a Ecuadorian binder and a Nicaraguan filler. It's a great cigar, and it's, you know, you get some pepper out of it. You get a little sweetness out of it. Tones. I almost taste a little bit of milk chocolate.
So
out of
what-
it. It's actually good.
Ooh.
so where does that come from? The brand, where?
That's a great question, and I don't have the answer.
So probably in Latin America somewhere.
Probably.
So it's they probably pronounce it Carrillo, where it comes from.
And some Aneo.
Yeah.
You never know. You know.
You
You
know,
know,
double
senor?
L's is kind of like a Y.
Yes,
in
senor,
Spanish. Yeah. Calle.
You're stupid. Anyway.
Cállate.
That's like me. I took 6 years of Spanish, but do not ask me to speak it.
I can speak Spanish. Tequila.
There you go. That's a good start.
And you're very
That's an
good. You're
important
very
start.
good at that.
I
Yeah.
am very good at it. Don
Yeah,
Julio.
Particular one.
Yeah,
Don
for sure.
Julio. Mi carro. Got the double R's in there.
Oh my goodness. So what are we
Okay.
doing today, kids?
I don't know. We're doing a whiskey show. I
Oh,
think.
we're doing a whiskey
Yeah,
show.
we-
Apparently
do that
tequila now.
sometimes.
So
So we are doing a little ditty called JTS Brown, and this is the bottled in
Bond.
bond
Yes.
version, which
Yes,
is
it is.
100 proof, like all bottled in bonds. Normally the JTS is an 80 proof,
Mm-hmm.
but you know, here at the Whiskey Roundtable we like to kick it up a couple notches. So
$9.99.
real tomato ketchup. Ed?
Real tomato ketchup right there.
So
Amen.
we were talking before the show, you know, it seems like lately we've been doing some of the higher end type of things, but, you know, we're always big proponents, I don't know if that's the word, of saying you don't have to spend a lot of money
Sure.
to have a good drink.
And
So
unfortunately, we always do.
that's where your taste lands you.
I know, I'm sorry.
But, you know, last month when we were doing Wild Turkey Month, that definitely they are an affordable bourbon
Sure.
and whiskey that you can get. The Russell's Reserve can get a little bit more pricey towards the $50 range.
yep, that's a lot of what we do.
But, you know, not too bad. But, it's, you know, especially when we were doing the whiskey, Scotch Whiskey Month, some of those were a little high. And I know, Zach, you were a big fan of the Smokehead that we did.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that wasn't
4.8, which is a great score that you gave.
Yeah, it was an emotional response.
I didn't realize it at the time, but that's what that's what I gave the Russell's Reserve single barrel that we did. So
Yes.
You're not alone then.
yeah, I can't believe I gave it out to something that wasn't a single malt Scotch, but
That's saying something right there.
I know.
So if
I know.
anybody knows,
We
you're a
don't-
whiskey wizard over here.
We don't even know who you are anymore, Doug.
I know.
Hey, that was
Glad
a wild
May.
turkey pick.
Good product.
Is that
110.
what you're pre-gaming with over there?
I've been pre-gaming with everything on this
Oh,
table.
hey, speaking of that, do you see a little package down there on the floor?
I do. Let's.
So Shauna came across this and she wanted you to have just a little gift for Christmas.
Oh, do I
Just-
open it now?
Yeah.
Well, I was already gifted with the People magazine. My beer will go flying everywhere. So
With Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey
There we
People
go.
magazine.
There we go.
So
Oh boy, Shauna, what did you do? More Matthew McConaughey. McConaughey, hey.
Hey,
so the
I'll see
article
you
in
after the show.
the article in the
lights.
People magazine is him talking about this new book that he's come out with. So
That's it.
Nice.
He
she
talked-
thought maybe you would have
he-
that already.
He talked
and
about that book on Fox
She
News.
would like, just as long as she can read it after you're done.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you. And
And what
you know I love my decorative towels.
There we go.
That's awesome.
I love it.
There you go.
Thank
So,
you.
Save that.
You're
the
so
topic
sweet.
tonight is gifts.
Say
right?
that. I want to.
Yeah.
I want to wax the
So-
Porsche with that.
Just covered in scratches afterward.
Thank God you said Porsche.
Oh man.
Yeah, those Matchbox cars, boy, they sure do get dirty.
Y'all laugh now, don't laugh later.
So Glenn
teasing.
Stebbings is drinking a 17-year-old Highland whiskey from the Single Malt Society. So it's a first fill ex-bourbon hogshead. Very nice, Glenny.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah. Send us a picture of that.
Who's on the scroll? Anybody?
Pat
Pat
Patterson,
Patterson's
Pat Patterson.
here.
Sierra Nevada Pale Ale
Oh,
Yeah,
Pat's
okay.
with the
Pat's
Lagavulin
nephew
16.
Mike. Pat's nephew Mike seems to be on as well.
Nice.
Hey, Mikey, good to see you. Glad to have you.
Mikey Mike.
Mikey.
So
Mike,
what kind of
what
Mike?
is he, what's he
tell
drinking?
us.
What's he
Tell us
drinking?
what. I don't. I haven't seen Mike in a long time. What kind of whiskey do you like? Let us know.
I like Cam's Star Wars reference when he signed on. He said Red 5 standing by. I don't know how many people would catch that,
I didn't.
but because I am such a Star Wars nerd, I was like, oh, that was great. That was Luke Skywalker.
Do you have
was
to
Red
flip
5,
down the
wasn't he?
little thing before you say that? The helmet.
Well,
mic
if you're
or-
really
yeah,
serious, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
that's right. You think in the future where they could travel at, warp speed, they'd come up with something other than
Hey, when I gotta go to the bathroom, I'm warp speed. I
headphone
ain't even
microphone we
playing.
have to.
I'm on my way. I don't even touch the steps.
Right?
We've been watching that
Uh,
Mandalorian thing. It's pretty good. I like it. It's kind of a,
Oh.
I don't know, cross between Star Wars and a
oh
superhero.
my goodness.
I have not watched that. But yeah, Greg, that's right, Greg. You will do warp speed when you
Whoa. I ain't
get out of
playing.
his way, man.
Watch
Run you
out.
over.
Well, you can tell there's not a lot of excitement going on.
That's
at home,
true.
But
So
we're
we-
watching The Mandalorian, and we just took up the Blacklist, so that's we're kind of binging that lately. So.
You're stupid. Were the rest of you out of power for 3 days like we were?
No, we had no power issues.
No
a lot
power
of
at
snow,
the office. We had
lots
no
of
power
trees
here.
toppling over into the yard.
Thank God
stuff
for
like that.
generators.
We were partying like it was 1799, man.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah. Karen's like, can you pour me a glass of that, please?
Well, you guys were not going to go.
Nah, we were fine.
Whiskey was going to be
Yeah.
one thing you wouldn't have to worry
We were
about.
good.
It's true.
So
So let's go outside and drink whiskey. She's like, hell no, we went outside. And drink
I brought once I called the power company and they're like, yeah, you'll have it Thursday by
11
8
p.m.
or 11 p.m. I was like, okay, which bottles am I taking upstairs? Because because in here during the day it gets light,
Oh yeah.
She grabbed the Jim Beam fire.
I did.
Grabbed the
Mickey,
Jim
I
Beam
brought
fire.
that just for you.
There we go.
But I never opened it though. I just never got to it. But
That's the second bottle. We drink her bottle.
yeah, we did. That stuff is good.
Yeah, it's not bad. I usually don't like cinnamon
Does not
whiskeys,
drink.
but
It drinks like a whiskey. man.
Yeah,
It drinks like
exactly.
bourbon. It's good actually. I was shocked.
It's more whiskey than Fireball.
So when Mickey brought that bottle over for a Cinco de Juno or
Cinco
whatever,
de Junio.
and she's like, I've never had this before, blah blah blah. And I said to her, I go, this is not going to drink like Fireball. This is going to drink like a whiskey. She's like, what? I go, trust me, you're going to like it because I've had it before. And she's like, oh, you're killing me. I don't know if I said, just try it. Let me pour you a little something and try it. She tasted it. She's like, this is really good. I was like, yeah, you won't go back to Fireball after drinking that. It's good stuff. And she's not a whiskey person at all.
No,
So
she's not.
She she likes her vodka and stuff like that. But
Her
yeah.
flavored vodkas.
Yeah.
Glenn tells us that his Malt Society dram is Brazilian nuts and Mount Vesuvius, with notes of figs, dates, and mandarin oranges collide with cinnamon and dark chocolate. Well done, Glenn. Well done.
Who's
I'm
nuts?
sure Patrick Patterson loved that description.
Squirrel's nuts?
Whose nuts do you
Why
have
does everybody
there?
got bring
Nutskins. No, it's not Nutskins. He
No,
said,
no, not this
Oh.
Brazilian nuts.
Now that you
Important
mentioned
nuts and
Nutskins,
shaved
where's our
Nutskins.
girl Jennifer at? I don't see her on here.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't
I
seen
don't
her
see
yet either.
Jen Boggs on here tonight.
Uh-oh, Glenn, you retracted a message. I can only imagine what you said.
No, we want to hear it.
Yeah, put that back on.
Well, at least
Yeah.
he
You
usually is
scared?
on here as his daughter Claire, so he's not going incognito today.
So Lauren says she's drinking a Mortlock, the wee witchy 12-year-old.
Oh, nice.
Never heard of it.
So what is? I'm assuming that's a Scotch.
Oh yes, oh yes. It's a nice single malt Scotch.
Where do you get that stuff? I mean, I know she's out in Cali, but just curious, where do you get that? It's not. You have to-
Well, if you live in Los Angeles, at probably any decent-sized liquor store, but around here, I don't know. You probably wouldn't find it.
have to go online.
You'd have to mail order, yeah. We'd have to go to the Whiskey Exchange for something like that.
I want to get on the guy that has Bounty Hunter, I'm a friend of, and he's got some really good grappas that I want to grab.
Ooh.
You gonna grab a grappa?
I'm going to grab a few grappas. He's got some good year age statements. I already looked them up. I can't wait to get those. Good guy.
And you know,
Figure it out.
and not to change the subject, but you said grappa, which made me think of moonshine, which
Sure.
we watched the fight last. I know, this is how my brain works.
Loose connections.
This is how my brain. We watched the fight last week for Tyson Jones, which
Oh, yeah.
if anybody watched that. Anyway, we watched it, but we had a whole jar of moonshine on the table, and I can't believe you didn't get to it as much
We
as you
did.
love
We did.
that
We
stuff.
were going to open it. So Louie and Emily came in from Chicago and brought me that and some really good cigars, which I'm going to smoke one of today. But it was a great time. We had a good time. Just enough people. Wasn't crowded. And Ralph was in town. Sidecar, and you guys know Sidecar. He was in town, and we had a great weekend. It was the week before. The week before. Saturday before Thanksgiving and the whole week of the day before and all the whole 9 yards, Thanksgiving Day, after Thanksgiving, Saturday, it was party time and we had a friggin' blast. It really was. So, and I hate the holidays. I can't stand the friggin' holidays.
He does.
I am not a holiday guy.
Oh, well, you know, we got to change that.
But I'll tell you
that's
what,
my
we
mission now.
had a great week for sure. We really did. We really did.
So isn't grappa kind of, I mean, that's pretty much made from all the leftover crap after you make real wine.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
It's
because the only time I ever had it, that's exactly what it tastes
It's
like.
Italian moonshine.
Is
It'll
it?
give you
Okay.
all the hints of wine and different things, but good grappa.
But, I
is
mean,
good
they
grappa.
use, like the stems are in there, like,
Yeah, perfect.
and then they press that whole mess.
With their feet.
No, they use some kind of press. Anyway, what are we tasting tonight?
Oh, tasting.
Oh, we're doing a show today?
Yeah,
No, see,
We've been rambling for a bit.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what we
Probably
do.
time to
I know,
get back
right?
to the show about whiskey.
Back to the shoe.
So what are we drinking today?
We're doing JTS Brown. You guys want me to tell you a little bit
let's
about
get in
this?
it. Let's get in
Yeah,
it.
Absolutely.
So JTS Brown, it is a Heaven Hill product, as I mentioned. This is the bottled and bond version, which is 100 proof. Typically, if you see the JTS Brown, it's 80 proof. It is a product of Heaven Hill.
Mm-hmm.
And to give you a little history about Heaven Hill, they started shortly after Prohibition ended in the U.S., and they were founded in Bardstown, Kentucky, by the
And
Shapira family.
what date was the date that they repealed it? When did they repeal Prohibition?
I don't remember.
I wasn't alive.
What's the date today?
No, I'm
Today
kidding.
is December 3rd.
It's the
Okay, December 5th.
Fourth.
fourth.
Oh, it's the
So
4th.
tomorrow.
So tomorrow.
Tomorrow is Prohibition. So just keep that in mind.
We
Yeah.
must celebrate tomorrow.
We might have to celebrate. It's
I want to know why that's not a holiday.
Cinco Decembero.
Look at all the wrong holidays. U.S. is messed up. We got all the wrong holidays.
It's
while
true,
while
it's
they're
true.
making Juneteenth a holiday, go ahead and make the end of Prohibition December 5th a national holiday. That's
I
what I
agree.
say.
It needs
I
to be.
Yeah.
Sure.
Why hasn't anyone said that yet? What are we waiting for, people?
All right. Hey, here's to the 5th.
December 5th,
December
everybody.
5th.
Cinco Decembero.
Hey, listen, any 5th, all right?
Hey, I wonder if that's a coincidence. It's a 5th. Alcohol comes in 5th. Just anyway.
Yes.
Hey, if you can do one-liners, I can do them too.
There you
I
go.
don't do them as well.
You're doing a great job, honey.
Okay, let me just
Okay.
keep reading. Turn your back to me. You know
We're
what
talking
happens
about
when you turn your back to me.
Heaven
was in
Hills
my eyes.
JTS Brown.
JTS Brown.
Bottled and Bond, which what?
So they started, Heaven Hill started, and what they compare them to is the .com, bringing up the websites in the 90s, the .com era, because this company, they had nothing. They never had dabbled in whiskey at all, no available stocks in whiskey. It was at the height of the Great Depression. And they rose to be the largest independent family-owned and operated distilled spirits supplier in the country.
I think, yeah, they're still the largest privately owned.
It says they're the 5th largest spirit supplier in the U.S. and the 2nd largest holder of aging bourbon whiskey in the world. Mm-hmm. They have an inventory in excess of 1.6 million barrels.
That's a couple $100.
That's it. That's definitely $200 or $300.
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly.
No doubt about it.
Just a few.
No doubt about it.
So some of their other brands, Heaven Hill, so they have Evan Williams, which is the world's 2nd largest selling bourbon. They have Elijah Craig, small batch. I had to say this because that's just how my brain works. Fighting Cock.
Jen!
Who knew?
Henry McKenna.
Henry McKenna.
They also do Larceny, which Larceny was just named, their barrel proof bourbon was just named the 2020 Whiskey of the Year by Whiskey Advocate.
I thought Larceny, well, I'm probably speaking out of turn here. I thought Larceny was Old Fitzgerald. Is that part of
Old
Heaven Hill?
Fitzgerald is Heaven Hill as well.
I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember.
And then one of your favorites, Greg, Mellowcorn. They also do Mellowcorn.
I love Mellowcorn.
They have also expanded outside of the whiskey and bourbon industry, and they do other things. They do vodka, and they sell that as Deep Eddy's vodka. They do tequila.
Oh.
Lunazol. I think I said that right. Lunazol, Lunazul, tequila.
Okay.
They also do Burnett's vodka and gin. Burnett's gin. They sell Christian Brothers brandy and Carolan's Irish cream. Those are some of the ones that I've seen on the shelves as well. One of the things I found that was interesting about Heaven Hill is their connection to the Beam family, the Jim Beam family, which I didn't realize. So Earl Beam, who was the son of William Parker Beam, who was Jim Beam's brother, so Jim Beam's nephew, became the master distiller at Heaven Hill in 1946. Then his son, Parker Beam, joined Heaven Hill in 1960 and became the master distiller in 1975. And then Craig Beam became the master distiller in 1983. So close connection there with the Beam family. And I know, Greg, you're a big Beam fan.
I am.
So, which probably explains why you like their Heaven Hill products.
I do like their Heaven Hill products. I really do.
Every time I hear the whole spiel on the Beam family, I sit there, I'm like, and then I immediately forget
the nephew,
afterward. It's such a complex
The nephew
web.
started up another distiller. The nephew's name is Crossbeam, and he started up Heaven.
I never know how to look at you. I'm like, is this serious? Is this not serious?
Where are we going with this?
Remember we did a whole episode on all the kind of the incestuous relationship between all the different distilleries in Kentucky and all the family ties between all the different major distilleries.
Yeah, it's crazy how they're so
they're
interconnected.
they all have somebody that's related who started it. So coming down from a few, from the Beams and the Nose, and there's the Russells. They're all tied together.
They're all
through,
connected.
through family relationships.
Yep.
And Buffalo Trace has a great history story on their website about all of the different names that are connected as well. It's crazy. You're like, every time you see another name, you're like, that's where that came from. That's where that came from.
Well, when we did the tasting for Steve Beam for Yellowstone, I was a part of that and was able to sample all of the stuff before it hit the market, which was great. And I didn't realize, so Steve Beam's mother had a distillery as well. I think she still has it. But,
Nice.
yeah. Cool stuff.
Okay, so let's get off the history
What
here.
was her name?
I don't remember her.
Eileen.
Mrs. Beam.
Mrs.
Eileen.
Beam. Mrs. Beam.
Eileen Beam. Okay.
Her nickname was 100 Proof.
I'll have to link that episode with the Whiskey Wizard afterward. I think all of us need a refresher course.
Yeah, we
It's
do.
been a while.
We
Yeah,
do, definitely. Today, their master distiller is Connor O'Driscoll, who joined Heaven Hill in 2019. Couldn't find a lot about JTS Brown. Actually, when you go on Heaven Hill's website, they don't even mention JTS Brown, which I thought was interesting.
Interesting, right?
But it is named after John Thompson Street Brown Jr., who, with his half-brother George Garvin Brown, opened a wholesale liquor business that later became known as Brown Forman.
Old Forester, right? He was the Old Forester founder.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah, I know we've done George.
So
Garvin
again,
Brown.
another one of these interesting relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Keep trying to get away from it.
Well,
Keeps
and-
coming
Can't-
back.
Yeah, you can't.
Not
So-
only is Jim Beam one of my favorite products, so is Old Forester.
Yes.
Yes.
I love Old
It
Forester.
sure
Single
is.
barrel, particularly.
Single barrels.
Good.
Yep, one of my favorites.
Good stuff.
All right, kids.
When you're
well,
in
that's.
that, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was going to say.
Oh, when
that's-
you're in the
that's-
mood for that brown, sugary,
Good stuff.
rich. Anyhow,
Do we have some Old
I don't
Forester
know.
over
I'm
there,
just
Zach?
kind of in a mood tonight. What
Zach
can I say?
I know, I
Delicious.
think we
Do have
all
some
are.
Old Forester over there?
I
Oh, it's way over there. Don't worry about it. Leave it.
during the Whiskey Wizard.
There you go.
Jennifer Boggs joined us. Hey, girl.
Oh,
Well,
What are you
about
doing, girl?
time, Jen.
Will you
Good
fall
to see you.
asleep?
Good to see you.
Didn't you catch the Confucius say? Can't be.
Cam, are we having technical difficulties? I see you put that there, or were you joking about what somebody said earlier? Just trying to. Grappa tastes like crappa.
What did he say?
Heresy.
Oh, I was just kidding. Is this?
Grappa.
Yeah, joke.
No, really. Just kidding. Okay, I was like, what'd you say?
No, I
Blasphemy.
mean, I only had it once, and when he told me how it was made, I thought, yeah, that sounds appropriate.
Well, if you have good grappa, is the best grappa.
It's like we take all the crap that's left over, we
That's
press
all
it.
right. You don't. I don't have to share.
I'm like, I believe that.
There we
I
We're
don't
gonna
have
make
to
you do
share.
Schlevo.
Oh, no,
Oh,
please.
yeah.
no.
Tiki Taki.
No,
Oi,
I don't
oi,
do
oi.
plum, distilled plum.
That's
flavor.
okay. We'll find apricot stuff.
So, I haven't picked it up yet, but I'm going to. So they have a 10-year. So I have some aged Schlivovitz, 5 years, 10 years, 12 year, that I collect for my friend Gudon. So
Gudon.
from Das Schnitzelhaus, but he introduced us to a 10-year last week, but he didn't even know that was a year. He's like, man, and it was a different bottle. I'm like, where did you get this? So he's like, Greggy, this is the best Schlivo I ever had. This was last week when we were hanging out. I said, give me that bottle because it's in a beautiful. It's like an IW Harper, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
tall. It's not wide. It's tall. Beautiful bottle. So he sends me the bottle. I'm like, Gora, this is 10 year. He says, no wonder Greggy it tastes so good. So
Maraska. There it is. I
Okay.
took a picture of
there it
the.
is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nebraska,
you
yeah.
gotta look for that.
I better have a little bit more of this.
All right. Well,
Delicious.
before you do that,
Stick
isn't
with
it,
my Jim Beam. Well,
do
listen,
we have more, Karen, or are we going to taste?
No, that's
Okay.
that's what I got.
JTS Brown. All right. Okay.
All right. So
The
should
same Brown as in Brown Foreman.
Brown Foreman.
or The same family name relationship.
All right. Should we pass it out?
Let's
Pass
do
that
it.
stuff out.
Pass it around.
Uh-oh.
Pass it around, laddie.
There you go.
All right.
Did you get some, girl?
You want to try
Okay.
it?
Don't
You
be
sure?
scared.
Don't be scared.
After
It's got that. It's got a nice coppery, typical bourbon, good bourbon color.
Ooh, it smells delicious. Doesn't smell like a $10 bottle of bourbon.
No, it doesn't. You know what? It's very.
So I had this
Sweet.
bottle since last
I
year.
get like cereal almost. Like can't
Fruit-
put my nose on it.
Fruit Loops.
No, more like
I get cherry and cereal.
Yeah,
I get both of those
almost
things.
like
yeah.
I'd say Fruit Loops
uh,
for all you fruity people out there.
No.
So I have this bottle, and the Rev bought me a bottle. He was down in Kentucky visiting family, and he brought me back a bottle of that, amongst some other bottles too. So
I get a little bit of like apple, cherry, and the cereal is like oat, kind of almost like when you think of oatmeal or
I get a little dryness out of it,
I get
probably
caramel.
from the oak.
Yeah, I was gonna
Those
say.
stuff-
I'm
Well,
almost-
is it oak or is it copper?
I actually don't know.
I don't
well,
know either.
actually, I
Well,
mean it's
it's
We
bottled-
didn't do all of our homework.
it's
kids.
definitely
It's bottled in bond, so it has to
Okay,
be oak,
yeah,
right?
be oak, right.
Yeah.
oh yeah, 4 years, right?
Or-
Yeah.
Um,
My bad.
Very nice. I gotta say, I'm really liking the nose.
Me too.
I know.
Me too. I don't
It's
get a
good.
lot
If I
of
was,
ethanol out of it.
if I didn't know what it was, and you could tell me this was a very iron whiskey,
What's the
just
nose,
based on the
girlfriend?
nose.
What's
So the nose, it's said it smells like buttery grits because it's a little
Cereal.
on the
Cereal
grainy
grits.
side.
There you go. It wasn't oatmeal, but I could.
There's also some vanilla frosting, caramel, and baked apples.
Okay.
Then the traditional Heaven Hill peanut brittle comes out with a smidge of musty oak. I don't get that.
I get the
I
musty
get-
oak,
I
but
get
not
the
the
musty
peanut.
oak, but
Not
I
the
don't-
peanut
I don't
brittle.
get the peanut
It's
brittle.
yeah, you get a little bit of, that kind of
I don't get
burnt
nuts on the
sugar,
nose
that
with this
kind
one.
of a sugary taste you get with
It's
brittle.
it's dark.
I can see that.
It's it's definitely dark.
Yeah, are we going in for the taste?
Let's go in for the
I
taste.
think so.
What are we
Alright.
waiting for, kids?
Go in.
Mmm.
Wow.
Very smooth.
Smooth. Sweet. Hint of pepper.
I taste the nuts now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let me pull my pants up.
Definitely some oak.
I get a little mint out of it.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
right
would
at the
agree with
end.
that.
Get some mint out of it.
Get like almost maybe a little tobacco, or
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's
It's good. It's good.
not long on the finish.
No,
but
it's not long.
No, it
But
isn't.
the what you do get on the front end is
Very pleasurable.
there's a lot
for sure.
going. There's a fair amount going on.
Sure.
Caramel, vanilla, of course.
I
Long
agree.
legs on this glass too.
I don't like it. I don't dislike it, but I think this is like exactly down the middle of the road. This is bourbon. It's
Exactly.
like not too far one way or the other.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would tend to agree that we're not in the scoring phase yet, but I would, that's a little bit of a tip off. But I think, yeah, I would agree with that statement. There's nothing at all disagreeable about this. I'd be happy to drink it straight. I'd be happy with some ice cubes. I'd be happy to throw this in a punch or a hot toddy or.
I get fruit. I mean, I do get some of the
Yeah.
apple out of it, but I get some other fruits as well. But it's really good.
It is good. It's not a
It's
long
fantastic.
finish, but
No.
I think it's
Just a little-
smooth and kind of sweet.
What finish I do get's a little like maybe black pepper almost.
It's-
kind of
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't get a ton of that pepper spice out of it. Don't
But I like a whiskey to go sweet and then bring me to something like pepper or something dry at the end rather than the other way around. So there's, like I said, it's pretty. I mean, we haven't talked about the price, but certainly for the price, this is pretty darn good whiskey, I think.
I agree.
That's true.
Yeah. No. Absolutely.
What is the retail?
$9.99, kids.
I think somewhere between
can't argue
$9
with
and
that.
$15.
Yeah.
And for that, this is a pretty darn good whiskey for,
It is.
let's call it $15.
Unfortunately, you
worst
can't
case.
get it in Ohio unless you order it in from somewhere or you're down there. In
But if you were in California, like some of our viewers, you could just walk over and get it.
Amen.
Be about right over there.
All right. So what's
But you
the,
can get the JTS regular 80
Sure.
proof pretty
and I've had
commonly in Ohio.
the JTS 86 proof.
80.
80 proof. Sorry, the JTS 80 proof. I usually buy the 175. It is a great drink as well.
Well,
And it's on the bottom shelf, but I'm telling you, I can't remember what it was, like $17 or something like that, maybe $18 for the 175. And I've gone through probably 3 or 4 bottles of that.
Yeah.
but I
throughout
think
the-
this,
throughout the last
because
year.
it's bottled and bond, would be particularly good in one of those hot toddies or a cocktail because of the extra proof. It's
I-
not going to get as
Hold
hot.
up, yeah.
I think
It's
it
going to
would,
hold up to that cocktail.
I think it'd be great in a Manhattan or an old fashioned. So
There you go.
I think it's
Yeah.
perfect for that. So
I'm
So-
a fan, kids.
comes to the holidays. I think that anybody that which us as well, we'll get together with next week actually with RJ and Amelia. I think the JTS Brown will be a perfect thing to take over for some Manhattans. So
And
Perfect.
I would not be turning my nose up at this.
No.
But let's get to the numbers. Big G, let's start with
Do we
you. What do you?
Do we do the palette?
We didn't do the palette yet.
Oh.
You want me to do the palette?
Yeah.
Well, I thought we did.
No, I did
No,
the nose.
nose.
Oh, we didn't do what the
Official.
official palette says. Okay.
So the palette says it's a little thin, which may be the age or the number 3 charred barrels. There's a little heat that comes through, but it mostly tastes like a thin caramel sauce with some crushed peanuts added in. There's also some oak and tobacco present.
I think we mentioned that.
The finish, here we go, with the slight black pepper flakes, adds a little bit of heat to the finish, and then a wave of peanut butter fudge comes
I
through.
didn't quite get the.
I didn't get that.
With butterscotch mint, there you go, Greg,
Greg's mint. There you go.
drying oak, and a little bit of leather.
Greg is always very good at getting the finishing notes. I've noticed that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just got lucky.
Okay, now.
Now that they said leather, I would agree with that. It's one of the few where I've read that
Yeah.
there's a leather finish, and I've actually said, oh yeah, I do get that.
It's actually more of a patent leather, but
Well, it's
What's your-
$15 bottle. What can you expect?
Oh,
gee, what do you got
my God.
score-wise?
Italian full
What-
grain.
what would you? How would you score
Dear.
this one
You know what?
on our 1 to 5
on
whiskey
1 to
roundtable
5,
scale?
the price, the multiple things that you could do with that product, even the bottle. I mean, the bottled and bond, which we're drinking, and I know that the 80 proof was another one that I don't think anybody would be disappointed with. It's not much more than the bottled and bond, but I'm going to give it a high score of 3.5, man.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay. Well,
Nice.
all right. Karen.
And Greg, you're right there with where I was, because one of the things you have got to factor in is the price.
Exactly.
And if
Well-
you're gonna spend $10, you know, there's a lot of bottom shelf crap out there.
Yeah, even the 80 proof. I mean, if you want to compare them both, I mean, it's just a couple bucks more for the bigger bottle. It's not the bottled and bond, but both of them I would score high because they're great drinks. Anybody I've ever poured a glass and never showed them the bottle are like, man, this is great stuff. Where did you get
So,
this?
part of your score then is considering its price range, which
Right.
that's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
we don't have any specific rules about our scoring, so that's good. And so Karen,
Yeah,
what do
so
you think?
you know, based on, I like the sweetness that it has on the nose, the sweetness that it has right when it hits, and then quickly goes into some heat. For the price, it's not complex, but it's good. I'm gonna go 3.5 as well.
All right.
Okay.
Dougie Doug.
All
What's
right.
up, Wizard?
So, I'm just going to look at it in comparison to all whiskeys, regardless of price range. That's kind of how I want to do it. So, which to each his own. I'm going to put it. I think it's very good. It's excellent for that price range. I'm going to give it a 3.1.
All right.
Okay,
You're
that's
in
not a
the
bad
ballpark.
score.
Yeah,
You're on first base.
yeah.
We're on third.
Zachary.
Go ahead.
I'm right at 3.12. I didn't mean to copy, but you said it.
3.1
And
or
I'm like,
3.12?
3.1.
Also,
3.1 also.
But,
Okay.
but yeah, I was trying not to let the price inflate my score because I'm looking at it and I'm like, for that price, it's a fantastic score.
Well, to
So I
be
scored
fair
it
to
away.
all whiskey, because
Sure.
we're going to do the whole gamut from stuff that's really hard to find to the bottom shelf stuff, and we should look at these things because I think this is a real value.
Sure.
and
it is.
there's
Absolutely.
no question.
Yeah,
So,
no doubt about it.
and it just goes to show you can get a really enjoyable bourbon. You don't have to spend $80 or
True.
right.
you know,
And a lot of
bottle,
times
so.
we talk about people that are new to bourbons and whiskeys, and we usually steer them more towards the Irish whiskeys because they're lower proof, a little bit lighter. But this would be one of the American bourbons and whiskeys that I would steer them to.
For a
because-
bottle and bond, it's definitely not hot. It's not. It doesn't have an alcohol burn. It's actually a very good one to start somebody with.
I
If
totally
you know,
agree.
It definitely ranks up there with a Bardstown.
Yeah. Yeah.
The old bar stone.
The last thing you want somebody to do is go buy some $100 bottle of whiskey and then find out they don't like whiskey. And that's just...
One of my friends just started his bourbon journey, and I started him out with one of the Ball and Bond. He's like, "Oh, I need to get a hold of." He's not just regular Buffalo Trace he was searching for, and I'm like, "My liquor store's 3 weeks out on Buffalo Trace."
Sure.
I'm like, "Here, let me get you something bottled in Bond. You're gonna be super happy with it,
Yeah.
and it's gonna be a super good, cheap place to start."
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And some of them you don't have to fight for, which is what I like. The bottled in Bonds seem to have pretty decent availability at stores. So
Yeah. Well, I've seen Old Granddad Bottle and Bond,
Sure.
which we've
Old
covered on
Granddad.
the show. That's pretty
That's
prevalent.
good
I
stuff
see
there,
it most
sure.
places now. That's another great value, which we've talked about in the past. So, anyway,
All right.
okay.
Here we
So-
go, kids.
So is it time for? I think it's time for the Wizard.
I think you're right.
Time for the whistle.
How long? What's the show? Anybody know how long?
So we got about 10 minutes on the Whiskey Wizard tonight, but some great things. If you guys are in the market, like Doug said, to look for some Christmas gifts, he comes up with some really great ideas. I'm a little jealous of some of the presents you've already opened this year, but I think you're going to tell us a little bit about that. So.
Yeah. So we'll see you all
About
See you
10
back in about
minutes.
10
in a
minutes,
few
kids.
minutes.
All right.
All right, hang
Be
tight.
right back.
Whiskey Wizard. It's the Whiskey Wizard.
Hello and welcome to the Whiskey Wizard, where we say that whiskey making takes scientific knowledge, an artisan's skill and dedication, and a bit of the wizard's alchemy of light, air, earth, and fire. In this night's segment, we're going to look at potential gift ideas or stocking stuffers that you might want to consider for the whiskey lover on your holiday list. I know many of you have already been furiously surfing the e-sites and even a few brick and mortar outlets in the quest for those spirited gifts for those on your list. I'm going to discuss a few gifty things I've located that I would welcome. One, if I didn't already have one, or two, I wouldn't necessarily mind having another of, or three, I don't have and would simply love getting. First, let's take a look at some accessories. Now, I did product reviews on these previously on the Whiskey Wizard, so you know that I gave these the thumbs up. Both the Norlin and the Neat glasses are not only very unique and stylish, but are designed for serious nosing and tasting. And the Neat glass is easily personalized to suit your lucky recipient. Neither of these items will break Santa's bank either, as the prices are quite reasonable. Maybe your shoppee is more traditional and you just want to get a set of personalized Glencairn glasses or rocks glasses. For rocks glasses, I like the Halpert, but there are many to choose from in both the Glencairn and rocks styles. I also like this Four Roses glass. I think it's pretty sharp. You can buy these from the distillery and you probably could get them by Christmas. For something a little more fancy, you might consider a set of personalized monogram glasses with matching decanter. I think this set from Amazing Items has an elegant but not overstated design. If your drinker is also a cigar guy or gal, this corksicle glass set with built-in cigar rest is simply as cool as it is functional. For outdoorsy use, I love this Yeti lowball cup. It is super well insulated, keeps your whiskey or cocktail as cool as it was when it went in, and for a long while. And in the morning, it'll keep your coffee just as hot as you like it. And there's a whole range of whiskey ice cube makers. I prefer the simple large cube or ice ball, especially in the summertime. I have to admit I don't like the pewter or stone cubes that you chill in the fridge to drop in and chill your drink without dilution. At least that's the idea. More than once, I've used these and almost knocked out a tooth trying to down my dram, or else I'm having to fish it out with my hands once it's done whatever it's going to do. Honestly, just chill the whole bottle for a bit if you want it a bit cooler and don't want any dilution. Okay, there's a few clothing options. There's the Lord's Rocks Whiskey Socks for the drinker that has everything else. Of course, there are a range of whiskey-themed shirts out there that range from humorous t-shirts to quite nice logoed polo styles. For the latter, you might go to your giftie's favorite distillery store to see what they have to offer. Four Roses, Buffalo Trace, and Talisker are good examples, having some good options. On the topic of teas, last night my daughters Lindsay and Kayla had me open up a few Christmas gifts early, as they knew they would be good for the show. Here's a nice tea they got me for our Christmas show on the 18th. As you can see, we whiskey a Merry Christmas. Nice. Of course, you may find the right head cover for your dram lover as well. There are many choices. They truly abound. Then there's the YCHY Backpack Glass Whiskey Smoking Cigar Ice Cubes Bag Backpack. Wow. Now, honestly, you can't get this for a youngster, and I'm not sure what grown man does with this, what looks like to be a book bag. But I don't know. I guess I still use a backpack. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. Now, we can't finish this without talking about the juice itself. Look, it's obvious. This all depends on the gift recipient and their tastes, which you need to know, or you're better off sticking to some of the other items we've already covered. If they like bourbon, of course, there's obvious unicorns like Blanton's and Pappy's that you'd have had to start planning months ago for. But realistically, consider something like Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select or any Buffalo Trace Single Barrel store pick. As we've talked about, I don't like Jack Daniel's regular number 7, but their specialty offerings are quite exquisite, fruity and complex, and I've developed quite a fondness for them. Big G and I are head over heels for any Buffalo Trace single barrel picks or store picks. Simply some of the best stuff available. Clyde Mays Alabama Whiskey should be considered while it lasts. Michter's Single Barrel Bourbon is yet another great choice. Also consider Wilderness Trail and Jefferson's Ocean, aged at sea. I think Michter's Single Barrel Rye is about as good as any rye option you'll find. Consider also Peerless, Pikesville, or the Clover as unparalleled rye options that are findable and unique, but with an endearing character. And at last, we'll talk about the Scottish malt lover. Again, the key is knowing what they generally like. For softer, smoother, lighter fare, go with the Glenmorangie 10 or Glenkinchie, or a lowland malt like Bladnoch or Auchentoshan. One of the many good Irish single malt pot still whiskies might appeal to this category as well. If they like a slightly fuller but low peated Speyside, consider Glenrothes, Glenfiddich, or Craigellachie. One of my favorites here is the Balvenie Doublewood, or this one, their rum cask finished whiskey, 14 years. Love it. If cask finished single malt is their thing, consider the many types of port, sherry, Madeira, and other wine and wine spirit finished offerings that Glenmorangie has, as well as Glenlivet. The Macallan is also a great choice here as well. For peated single malts, look to Lefroy, Cool Ila, Lagavulin, and Ardbeg. I also like Kilchoman a lot here for a full-bodied peaty dram. There are all kinds of variable offerings with these Scottish distilleries and regions. The key is finding something a little less common that is in their taste preference wheelhouse. And let's all remember Rayon Cognac. We at the Whiskey Roundtable believe most all whiskey lovers would adore this as a nice change of pace. Rich and complex, Rayon has just a hint of sweetness, and it is practically overflowing with traditional character. And the suppliers of this product, Ray and Ron, have been guests on our show. It's not cheap, but it's worth every last penny. We can assure you. Okay, the other thing my daughter has got me was this whiskey holiday advent calendar from Drinks by the Dram. In this one, there are 12 Scottish whiskey drams for my enjoyment on each of the 12 days of Christmas. They are available through Hard to Find Whiskey at www.htfw.com. Now, since this took weeks to arrive from Scotland, you better put this one on next year's list. But they do offer a number of these holiday sampler sets, and offer other regional sets as well that make for good year-round gift ideas. It also comes with this nice catalog for many of their other items, and this is a special holiday catalog, and a little hard-to-find whiskey spirit tasting notebook. Look, we could go on longer, but it's time to get back to the show so we can finish up, and you can get back to your shopping, or at least having another dram while you think about shopping. It's much better to give, and there's a lot of giving to be had, so no worries, just dive in. Chances are, if it has to do with whiskey, and you have some idea of what those on your list are into, you're going to do just fine. This is Douglas Dunbar, the Whiskey Wizard, for the Whiskey Roundtable. Cheers, happy holiday hunting, and now, back to the live show.
Nice ideas there, Whiskey Wizard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so there's a lot of choices out there. So for those whiskey lovers on your list. So.
I'm a little jealous of the 12 days.
Yes,
that
so
you got.
That's good.
I on December the 13th, I will begin that journey
Are you going to wait
of
that
the
long?
12 days of Christmas. Well, luckily, I have other options until then. But yes, I will start that journey on the 13th of December and go through Christmas Eve. We'll capture all that. So.
There were a couple on there that caught my interest.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
me too. I mean, and you know, a few of the blendeds will be interesting to try because they're all kind of unique. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Very cool.
I was just laughing about that cigar backpack. Just
yeah, yes.
Oh.
The title actually was something like cigar, backpack, glass, whiskey.
It sounded very intriguing.
yeah.
And then what
but
you
then
showed...
I looked at it; it's just basically a kid's book bag. And
Disappointment.
I'm thinking, oh. So you know, I just threw that in, kind of. Hopefully, nobody really buys that, but I don't know. I don't think you're going to get that for your third grader or something, but.
For a husband and a camping crew, you know.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
make some
But
foam
it's a book
inserts
bag.
for
It's
it.
kind
Like
of a
you could
book,
work
that's
with
what
it.
it's designed to be.
Another
So I
one.
don't know. That was a little curious, but
Yeah, no, it was interesting because when you first said it, I thought it's got a little compartment for a cooler and it'll have like a place where
when
you
I
can keep
first
your
came
glasses
across it, I'm
safe
thinking
and-
that like, yeah, it's designed so it holds your glasses and
Yeah.
there's a compartment for cigar, but no, it's a book bag. So this,
There-
as far as I can tell.
There's a viral video online of they have all those like make things videos.
Yeah.
And somebody took an old fuel can, cut it open, and turned it into a Jack and Coke carrier. So it had for your bottle of Jack Daniels, and then it had where you could put like 5 cans of Cokes and a couple highball glasses on the side of it.
There you
Nice.
go. I love those unique types of
Yeah,
things.
It's a bottle of Jack because it's square.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Everybody's
so it fits in the
right
corner.
in there.
Of course, of
Oh,
course.
see, I didn't
yeah.
even pick up on
Sign
that.
'em all.
Yeah.
Good fun.
All right.
All right.
Oh, man.
So we got
We got
any
any
news?
news?
I do.
All
I do
right.
have some
Geez,
news.
got some news.
I do have some news.
Lay it on us, son.
All right. Exclusive Woodford
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
Debuts 2020 Master Collection made with some of the oldest bourbon ever. For the last release of 2020, Woodford Reserve is going into previously unexplored territory with Master Collection Old Fine Rare Bourbon, a limited edition small batch utilizing some of the oldest whiskey in their possession. The Bourbon Review got an exclusive taste of the new whiskey. The whiskey is a blend of barrels up to 17 years old. Wow.
Interesting.
Is this from the master distiller Chris Morris?
It is from Master Distiller
Okay.
Chris Morris. Yes,
Damn.
sir.
Okay, we're gonna have to coordinate on the news a little
All
bit.
right. All right. Did you have this too?
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry.
No,
Chris
Steal
Morris,
my thunder,
first year in the Master Distiller role in 2003. The name Very Fine Rare Bourbon is a nod to the descriptors used by our ancestors to auction highly aged bourbon barrel lots. Morris said in an unreleased statement, while Woodford Reserve will always honor the past, the Master's collection is about to present the future. All right, then.
Yeah.
And this is, according to Woodford, the oldest stock in Woodford's possession. So we're fundamentally the outer limits what the Woodford mashbill and aging process capable of doing to whiskey. With a fitting tribute to these oldest barrels of Woodford Reserve to celebrate Chris Morris's legacy, while looking into future assistant master distiller Elizabeth McCall. All right.
So does it say the age, or just a mixture of old
They
barrels?
said what, up to 17
Up
years?
to 17 years.
17?
Yeah.
Wow, that's old for bourbon, man.
The age is not stated on the bottle,
Well, they said it's blended for sure.
which means that this
It's
is a
a-
17-year whiskey that has likely been counterbalanced by something younger. So it's a blend. So.
Which makes sense, because I always get nervous when you get into bourbons that old that it's just going to be over oaked at that
Correct.
point.
Right.
So I just for some of our Scotch viewers, when we say blended, it's not like you might think of neutral spirit, grain spirit being added. No, it's just it's a blend of different barrels of different ages.
A
So.
little bit more methodical than
Yeah.
that.
All right, beloved Booker's 30th batching from 2018, which is included of some of the Jim Beam oldest Booker's stock. How about that?
You
So-
listening there, Jen? You
Yeah,
hear
Jen
about
Nielsen.
this?
But
She likes
needed
her
a younger
Booker's.
whiskey to make a truly great. Woodford has never been age statement, kind of a whiskey anyway, and Master Collection has never really been about the numbers. So that would be have been an unusual change of pace. The Woodford folks were also quick to clarify the Master's Collection isn't changing course of that. Going forward, though, all Master's collections will focus on more modern innovation by Morris and McCall. The 2020 Master's Collection was apparently also an excuse to debut a new bottle design. Gone is the classic round pot still shaped bottle, replaced instead with a new version of a more familiar hip flask shape.
For all you young kids.
Yeah, this will also be the first Master Collection release ever to feature McCall's name since she started in that role in 2018. What does Woodford Reserve bourbon taste like at 17 years of age? The Bourbon Review obtained a sample ahead of the announcement, and we have to say, excuse me, guys, my phone's going off at the same time. It's once generation release. Excuse me, hang on a second. Marion, could you please go up and answer the door, please? Thank you.
Ruh-roh.
Okay.
Sorry, kids. From the start of the whiskey is a unicorn's unicorn. The nose begins with
Getting tired.
No, I'm not getting tired. I'm all flustered because I got my phone's going off and people are knocking on the door. All right, sorry, kids. The nose begins with this deceptively sweet, showing sweet oak and praline notes, but quickly balances with a alluring raft of pipe tobacco. Sounds great. On the palate, it weaves together sharply defined notes of vanilla and green apple with tons of clove and candied orange peel. Sounds great. The structure of the whiskey is gorgeous and defined throughout, but the finish is where the whiskey shines. Like some of the 90.4 proof symphony coming.
Symphony.
Yeah, thank you. All right, I apologize. Initial depths of the oak seems to separate into individual flavors of a component's grain. The finish begins with a fresh corn sweetness. veers sharply into spice, but ends up with a pleasantly earthly maltiness that continues into the finish in a long tendrils of dark chocolate. What's incredible about this whiskey is that throughout all these flavors, twists and turns, it manages to sustain a baseline of those slightly spiced. What are you laughing at? Me?
Glenn Stebbings goes, spit it out, Big
I
G.
know. What's up, RJ? I'm trying to read, and I have my real glasses on today. But anyway, the dark chocolate seems to hang in your mouth for minutes after the last sip, counterbalancing with the returning hints of vanilla long after the last swallow. Put simply, this is the best Woodfords we've ever tried, and we've tried a lot of Woodfords. It's elegantly old whiskey, immaculately counterbalanced by a younger stock to make something profoundly delicious. Awesome. So,
What's
with all
the cost on that?
$130 a bottle.
Okay.
I was expecting it to be a little bit more.
Yeah, that's
after
not
all
as bad
the-
as I was thinking.
Yeah. Exactly.
The more he talked, I'm like, this is getting more and more expensive.
Yeah, it is getting more expensive, and that's all the news that I have today.
Oh, thank God. No, I'm just kidding.
Big G's getting benched.
Oh, he's all flustered. My poor man.
I know.
So Umiki,
Ooh,
Japanese whiskey maker, won the silver medal at the 2020 San Diego Spirits Competition recently, and they just released on the 23rd of November that same Umiki whiskey, and it's the only whiskey that is aged in. It's the first whiskey aged in pine barrels.
Pine.
And they use first ocean water infused whiskey brand. Interesting. So, how does that not taste like turpentine?
Yeah, I was gonna say pine.
Like
But
aged in
why?
pine? Like of all
Can't do
woods,
it.
I just
I know that. I mean,
But
pine
it
is known
wants-
to be sappy
Yeah,
and
soft,
and-
porous, and
Yeah,
sappy.
yeah,
Exactly what you
full
don't
of
want.
what you don't want.
tannins and
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, so I guess we'll have to try it. Just maybe that's be an interesting one to.
I mean, if they lean into it, I mean, there's a chance.
Pine barreled. aged.
I'm not a fan of that.
Well, it is
Even
Christmas.
without tasting your
You know,
mouth.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah,
I mean-
it
I
sounds
mean,
like
pine
sounds
is
like
a dirty wood,
turpentine to
man.
me.
It's a dirty
so-
wood.
Yeah,
Yeah, pine is not.
I mean, I'm thinking if they dry it out and then char it, are they charring it? Did it say?
It does not say.
I'm sure
pine,
they
it's
are.
the
Yeah.
I
first-
can't imagine it'd be like a toasted or a
Yeah.
straight up, clear, so to say.
Yeah.
Lay it out and dry it. You
Ah.
might get somewhere.
Yeah.
Next-
I don't know. Maybe
next-
it tastes like a Christmas tree.
Next week we're going to try something. Next week we'll talk about it after the show. I don't mean
Okay.
to cut you off, Doug. We're going to try something next week that came out about 4 or 5 months ago that everybody had to have, and me and Mark Anderson both agreed that it's
Marky.
that you want to talk about something that has nothing. And I'm shocked by the distiller because everything that they say is in there is nothing. It's really not so. Next week's show, I apologize. It kind of giving you.
So are
kind
you
of giving
saying
it-
it's not that great?
I don't think it's great at all.
It's okay to give a primer for next week's show.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
we're
no,
we're
that's
going to
fine.
try it next week, and
Okay.
like I said, everybody raced to get it, and I was able to acquire 2 bottles thanks to Mark Anderson, and it's not my palate,
Oh, okay.
and I'm shocked because it's a product that I really like.
Wow. Now you got me curious. We'll talk.
So we'll
Yeah.
talk.
So the Whiskey Exchange's Whiskey of the Year winner, and it just released the first day of December here,
The pine one?
is
Sit in the King's chair.
drum roll,
Oh.
the Port Charlotte 10. We were talking about
Oh,
this.
yeah.
From the folks at Ruick Laddie. And so the 10-year-old Port Ellen, did I say? Port Charlotte, sorry. Port Ellen, that would be, I don't think it
Louisiana.
would be great to get your hands on that. No, Port
Oh,
Ellen
yeah, I was gonna
is
say the first thing
is
that comes to mind to me.
great Scottish whiskey that
Oh,
doesn't
okay.
exist anymore. Very expensive if you can find it. But, and then also, so try to get your hands on that. I don't have a price on that, but it should be fairly available, even here in Ohio. Bushmills Irish Whiskey introduces its rare Bushmills 28-year-old single malt cognac cask aged.
You got my attention.
Yeah. So
How many year?
28.
28 years old. It's only $500 a bottle. So,
So is that my birthday or
Yeah,
my Christmas
so
present
that's-
or my birthday present?
it's coming, G.
All right, so I appreciate. I'll hold my breath.
And I wonder about that because sometimes the higher in proof that you go, the less impressed I get. So you've got a 30-year-old, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know what the
sometimes-
proof is. It doesn't. I didn't
Doug's had
have
the.
that. But
You
the
talking about Scott?
28-year-old. It's a Bushmills Irish.
Oh,
whiskey.
I have 16,
Yeah.
No.
which is fantastic.
But you've got a 30-year-old Scotch back there, don't you?
I do. I have a 32 and a 30 and something else.
And they're good, but usually when I hear they're aged a little bit longer, I get a little bit nervous.
Well, no. This.
Oh,
Well, okay. So
go ahead.
for Scotch whiskey and malt whiskey, that's not. Well, I mean, 28 years is. That's an old. That's old in any book. But remember that
It was like 2 years ago.
We're not
before I
talking
won.
about who Greg dates.
it's not.
We're
yeah,
talking
it's
about.
It's not bourbon.
1880, kids. I'm in.
As I've said, I think the sweet spot on Scottish whiskey
I gotta
is
get it
around
coming and
18
going.
to 20.
Sorry.
But anyway, so
Sorry.
that's pretty good. And Glen Scotia has unveiled a 30-year-old single malt just this month, or actually the 24th of November. And they only released 500 bottles of that, so you can pick that up for just a mere $970 a bottle.
Well, that should be something
Yeah.
else for me for
There you go.
Christmas.
So that's maybe your birthday present.
Lauren
Quite
said
the
the
list.
Port Charlotte is around $50 to $60.
All right. Of course, she can just go to the store and get it.
Yeah,
But
quit
we
playing.
can't.
Come on.
Get two.
But Glen Scotia also unveiled their new festive sherry double cask finish. They did release 15,000 bottles of this, so it is available at about a much more reasonable $65 a barrel. And it has a striking black and gold gift carton. And it's supposed to taste very much like a perfect Christmas whiskey. It's got a lot of
it aged in
kind
pine
of
barrels?
holiday spices in the flavor profile.
All right.
So that's Glen Scotia, the 11-year-old. So I might try to see if I can get my hands on that one for Christmas.
So I have a question, and
Yeah.
I know we're running long, but oh please, after
Just
that
so
news
it's
story,
only 7
go
minutes.
sit over
We're
there.
only 7 minutes after the hour, so we're not that long.
I have a question. So you said Christmas whiskeys. There's been Christmas whiskeys that I've tried and I have not been pleasantly
Let's just
surprised.
say all of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
So I'm very curious. Like, I'm a beer drinker, as you know, because every week I'm here with this, and I love
But
Christmas
since
beers.
we are doing a whiskey show,
Yeah, I know. You reel me back in. So I mean, I know a lot about the Christmas beers, but Christmas whiskeys I haven't been really.
well, yeah.
Thrilled
Honestly,
with.
I think when I read, I wasn't going to read all the tasting notes here, but cinnamon, nutmeg, spicy notes, just kind of that take you into that Christmas baking kind of
Gotcha.
area in terms of the
Okay.
spices that people say they find in here with this one. So, the reviewer here is just saying it's kind of in his mind the perfect Christmas whiskey. So, but I'll be happy to maybe try that out and just give everybody a report on that.
Yeah, I would too, and I would be really interested in some Christmas whiskeys.
Maybe
to
if
try.
Lauren can get us a bottle.
Yeah, Lauren. Plenty.
There we go.
Yeah, come on, girl,
Yeah.
hook us up.
Too funny.
All right, so I guess that kind of brings us towards the end here.
What camera are we going out on?
Which
Let's
one do
make
you-
sure
what-
I just want to make sure I have it right this
Which
time.
one would you like to go out on? We're on this one right
Let's
now.
go there because
You want to go here?
We're right here.
Okay. All right.
He's still gonna screw up. He's
So as we go, remember, don't forget to subscribe to us on our YouTube page if you haven't done that already, and follow us on Facebook. If you have questions or comments, or you want to be a guest on the show, you can comment on Facebook or email us directly at thewhiskeyroundtable@gmail.com. And a closing quote.
Yes.
Let's hear it, son.
So this comes from one of our favorite quotees, is
Douglas Dunbar.
Dean Martin, who said, "You are not drunk if you can lie on the floor without holding on."
And
Amen.
boy, words of wisdom right
Definitely
there.
words of wisdom.
Hey, Dino. Yes.
All
yes.
right.
So,
All that being
send us
said.
off there, G.
All right. All right, kids. Well, listen, I appreciate you all watching today. I hope that we were somewhat entertaining.
We entertained ourselves
We
anyway.
did
Yeah.
entertain ourselves.
All is
So-
not lost.
So, and until next time, we'll next week we'll see. We got what, 2 more shows before the holiday.
And let's hope our power stays on the rest
All
of the
right.
year.
So I'm thinking
Yes.
maybe before we close out, I'm thinking maybe the last show, not next week, the week after. Let's do a scotch. I have a scotch picked out.
Ooh.
How's that sound?
I like that for
little
Christmas.
Christmas
You
surprise.
want me to
Because
twist
that's
his arm?
what that's what I
We're
drink
gonna go
during
some-
the holidays. Is
We're gonna
is
go.
my
We're gonna
scotch.
go we're gonna go a upper year.
Okay.
All right. 5 year. Okay.
Something special.
Just checking. Just
Get
thought I'd
that
ask.
5. Let's get
5
that
year?
wee
Okay,
beastie.
let's get the
the
wee
wee
beastie.
beastie.
Yeah,
That
we
would
can.
be
I mean,
actually kind of interesting. To
I
try
got some
that.
great scotch from Trader Joe's. You'll love it. It was like $10. So.
Nothing but the best.
All right.
Oh,
Till,
yeah.
until next week, kids. We'll catch you next week. Y'all have a safe week. Have a great weekend. Be careful. Big G.
Karen Helen Keller.
Doug Dunbar.
And Zach.
Catch you
Our
guys
producer.
next week, man. I'll see you
Be
guys
safe,
later.
all.
All right. Be careful.
We'll see
Night.
you next week.
Sounds
Thanks.
good.
If whiskey stopped working, every bar in town would be closing their doors, shutting down. Everybody would be trapped with their thoughts, 'cause nothing numbs the pain like bourbon or scotch. Oh no, oh no, no. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably wasting lots of money trying therapy. If whiskey stopped working, what the hell would I do? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't be over you. If whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, oh, whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped. Poor Jack D would be out of a job. Jameson and Bean would be cut off. Hank Williams songs wouldn't make any sense. Yeah, this whole damn world would be a mess. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably wasting lots of money trying therapy. If whiskey stopped working, what the hell would I do? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't be over you. If whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, oh, whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped, oh. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably halfway out of this town, leaving Tennessee. If whiskey stopped working, what the hell would I do? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I never get over you.